Okay, the recording is also started. So we are about to conclude the data types in Oracle in SQL, right? So yesterday we have completed about the string or character data type. So we know the how the string is getting validated, right? So it has to be expressed in single quotes, not double quotes. And again, in the string there are non-universal supported characters and Unicode data types. You can say that non-Unicode data types and Unicode data types. So under non-Unicode data types, when you want to represent only the English language, you can use char data type or you can use varchar2 data types. But when you want to represent all the major languages in the world, the concept of globalization, right? So you can use nchar or nvarchar2. N stands for national language, right? And we have discussed the drawbacks that you have for char data type. So what is a drawback? It is a static data type with the fixed length. So like for example, if you are if you want to store a string like good, okay, and if the size of the data type is given as 10 and the first four bytes gets occupied and the remaining bytes will be padded with spaces. So the usage is going to be less and the wastage is going to be more. I mean, sometimes you will see a lot of wastages. You may waste a lot of memory when you go with the car data type, right? In order to avoid that, so for example, it is recommended to use car data type when you want to store phone numbers or when you want to store gender. If you know the characters are going to be fixed characters, then you can go with this option. If you don't know, you can go for what varchar2 because it is dynamically it is a dynamic data type and the length is the variable length type. If it finds any spaces, those spaces will get truncated. Okay, there will be no memory wastages. Right? There are some cases where you have to prefer char data type and there are some cases where you have to prefer varchar data type. Likewise, even there is no much difference between nchar or char, nvarchar2 or varchar2. The only difference is you can represent the foreign languages, the concept of globalization. Everything is going to be same, right? Then later what we have understood, we have also understood about the long data type. So long data type is something like it is going to store both non-Unicode and Unicode characters and the form of one character which consumes 1 byte. The size is 2 GB here. The size is what? The maximum size is 2 GB here. What is an advantage here by using long data type? Okay, sometimes you will be choosing the English language, sometimes you will be choosing the foreign language. Whatever it is, you see the size is very big here, significantly very big, 2 GB when compared to the char and varchar data types. And at any point of time, you can have only one long data type in a table. So this is the takeaway, right? And we have seen date data types. Under date data types, you have date and timestamp. We have seen these things yesterday, right? At last, what you have seen? Yes. What is the difference between date and time? Memory consumption is what? Here, the memory consumption is about 7 bytes for the date data types, right? And for the timestamp, the memory consumption is 11 bytes. But in the timestamps, you can also represent the milliseconds value also. Okay, and it can be captured from the system itself. While creating the future, while dealing with the tables, complicated tables in the future, we will understand more about this time and the timestamp. Okay. Now today we will see the remaining data types. What is it? Okay. So we have long and long raw data types and we have lob data types. First, let us see what is raw and long raw. Raw and long raw data types. if you want to store the raw data, so when I say raw data, the raw data can be an image. Okay? An image can be raw data. A video can be raw data, right? Audio can be raw data. For example, if you are applying for any government examinations, or if you are applying for any universities, you would be asked to upload your passport size photo, right? Passport size photo. Okay, this is the common thing. Photo, passport size photo would be asked for the upload, right? And there will be instructions given. Okay, the photo should be in between 1 MB to 5 MB specifically. And also you would be asked to upload your mark sheets, or the university mark sheets, or the the mark sheet for the supporting as the supporting documents, mark sheets. In some cases, in some websites, you would be asked to upload the audio. If, for example, you want to store something in the form of audio, for example, you want to store something in the form of video, and you are interacting from the front end, you are interacting from the front end, right? So you are not dealing with the character data here. Okay, you would get a chance to deal with the raw data. So when I say raw data, what is raw data? Image is a raw data, video is a raw data, and audio is a raw data. Right? If you want to store such data, okay, you have an option to go for what? Long raw data types. I can say that it is used to store images, videos, or audios in the form of what? In the form of binary format. Okay? I can say that it is used to store the images or videos or files and audios. In the form of binary format. I say the form of binary format, which means okay, ones and zeros. Raw data is something like whatever the image that you store, whatever the videos that you store, whatever the audio that you store, it gets converted to the equivalent binary form. It gets converted to ones and zeros. This will be taken care by the software. This will be taken care by the SQL software, SQL plus software internally. These things will be taken care. This conversion will be taken care, and it will be stored as a binary data. Will be stored as the binary data, and when you extract this data, this binary data will be converted to the equivalent image or equivalent video or the equivalent audio. You do not worry about the things. So what is raw data? It's going to store images, videos, and audio. It's going to store image, videos, and audios just like that. No, it will be converted to a binary data, then it will be stored. Who will do this conversion? Internally it will be taken care. You do not have to worry about that. But the storage, when you talk about the storage, that storage will happen in the form of what? In the form of binary data. This is what it is, binary, ones and zeros. Because in a machine, in a particular machine, everything is what? Everything is I say binary data only, whatever that you show. Let's talk about the size. Let's talk about size. You have raw data type and you have long raw data type. So what is the difference between raw and long raw data type? Raw data type. So when you talk about the size, raw data type, okay, it is static in nature. It is static in nature. Second one is, okay, the size is what? The capacity is 2000 bytes. Very small. Capacity is something like 2000 bytes. Very static in nature, and its capacity is something like about 2000 bytes. Okay, next one is what? Long raw data type. Long raw data type. Okay. It is dynamic in nature. Only one difference is there between long and long raw. Both are going to store the images, videos, and audios, but the difference is coming here. Difference is coming exactly where? Difference is coming in the capacity and in the nature. Okay, this is what? This is dynamic in nature. Dynamic in nature, and it can store data up to how many GB? Up to 2 GB. 2 GB. 2 GB. Right? So this is all about long and run. Don't worry how we are going to store these images internally. So this is something, okay, we are just understanding about the data type. We are just understanding about what is a data type. Okay. And if you ask me, sir, how can I store an image? Can you just show me an example? If you ask me, that will be understood in the advanced SQL, in the PLSQL. You can use the data type directly. I can set this data type in the column name. That is no issues. But when it comes to storing the long raw data type, we need to deal with the advanced SQL language or PLSQL language that we will be seeing in the future. For now, understand what is raw and long raw. So these are the data types that are used to store what images or videos or audios. That knowledge is sufficient for now. Okay, now next one is what? Next one is large objects data type. What is large objects? Lob data types. Lob data. The last one. What is lob? What is lob? Lob stands for what? Large objects. Very simple. It stands for lob stands for large object or large object data type. Stands for large objects. Okay. Again, it is further classified into how many types? 3 types. Okay, you have what? You have something like B lob. You have something like C lob, and you have something like N lob. B, C, and N lob. So what is this B lob and what is this C lob and what is this N lob? Okay. B lob. B is a binary large objects. First of all, let us try to understand about what B lob stands for. Binary large objects. So again, when you see the word binary, something should come into your mind. Binary means the data, the raw data that we have just spoken about, that we have just discussed about. Okay, images, videos, or audios. B means raw data. Binary data means what? Raw data. So what I am saying, it stands for binary large object. Binary large objects, right? And so when I say binary, it is used to store images or videos or audios in the form of binary format. Okay, and you need to talk about its nature. Okay, it is again dynamic in nature. It's dynamic data type. Let's say next one is the maximum size. Okay, the maximum size is 4 GB. So you would ask me, sir, already we have the raw data type to represent the binary data. Okay, already we have the raw data type to represent the binary data. Why we have to go with BLOB, binary large objects? Okay, if you see that if you see the capacity, okay, you have raw data type. I understand that, but it has some restrictions. Okay, the nature is static and the capacity is 2000 bytes. So to overcome this, they have introduced long raw data type. And again, okay, the nature is it is dynamic in nature, but here the capacity is 2 GB. So they want to introduce something big. Something is bigger than long raw data. Okay, so that's why they introduced what? BLOB. BLOB is what? Again, it is dynamic in nature, but the size is 4 GB here. It is giving some advantages when you look at the size, right? Likewise, you have what? You have CLOB. CLOB, okay, it stands for what? It stands for character large objects. Stands for C is the character. Okay, it stands for what? Character large objects. Okay, and Now you should observe one thing. Character large objects. So it again, when you want to store a character, the characters can be stored in the form of Unicode or not in the form of or non-Unicode characters. So CLOB is going to store the non-Unicode characters. Stores non-Unicode characters. Okay, and again it is dynamic in nature, or it is dynamic data type. Data type. Okay, and the capacity is same as, okay, the maximum size is 4 GB. 4 GB. Okay, next you have what? You have n log. N NC log. Is NC log, guys. Is NC log. NC log. Okay, it stands for NCLOB stands for same thing like CLOB, but instead of character, you can say national character large objects. National character large objects. CLOB stands for CLOB is going to store the non-Unicode characters, but NCLOB is going to store the Unicode characters. Okay, and both are what? Both are dynamic data type. Maximum size is what? 4 GB. This is the only difference. Okay, so these are we have completed successfully about the raw and long raw data types and log data types. Okay, and so these concepts will be completely utilized in the advanced SQL. Please wait until I introduce advanced SQL. Don't worry about how can we insert the images. That part I will take care. Or no, just understand how many data types are there usually, and to understand how the table creation, to understand the data insertion, right? To deal with the errors, okay, we will be utilizing what most of the time we will be coming across the first three data types. Remaining data types will be full-fledged utilized in the advanced SQL. But just aware that this many data types are there. Okay. Now let us do a quick recap. So when I say recap, okay, so we have come across the non-Unicode characters. Unicode characters. Okay. So what are the data types that is under non-Unicode characters? You have char data type, and you can define a size for the char data type. Okay, and the size is what? 2000 bytes. Yes or no? Okay. And the second one is what? You have the varchar2 data type. Varchar2 data type, and you can also define a size here. Okay, and it is what? It is going to consume 4000 bytes. Right, and you have what? You have long data type. The size definition is not necessary here. You have long data type, can store up to 2 GB of data. Next one is what? You have CLOB. CLOB data type, which can store up to 4 GB. If you want to represent the characters in the form of English, okay, you have four options. You can go for char if you feel that it is static in nature, it is fixed, or you can go for varchar if you feel that it is dynamic in nature. And if you feel that, okay, you want to store the huge amount of data, you can go for long, or you can go for what? CLOB. So this is what? This is non-character Unicode, I mean non-Unicode characters. Okay, again you have what? You have Unicode characters, right? Right, yes. Unicode characters. So again, in the Unicode characters, you have nchar. Okay, you have to define a size. Okay, 2000 bytes. Okay, you have what? You have n varchar2 char2. Okay, you have to define a size. Is 4000 bytes. You have what? You have long. Okay, the 2 GB. Okay, and you have what? You have n character large objects. Log. Yeah, the size is what? 4 GB. Next you have what? Next you have binary data. The binary data, you have what? You have you can use long raw binary data. I mean, you can use raw, go for raw data type. It is going to store what? 2000 bytes. You can also go for long raw, which has the capacity of what? 2 GB. Okay, and you have what? You have something like blob, binary large objects, which has the capacity of what? 4 GB. So this is the complete differentiation. For characters, you have this many data types. For non-Unicode characters, and for Unicode characters, you have this many data types. And for the binary data, you have this many data types. Right? Now let us understand about how to create a table in Oracle database. So we have come across this concept very often. Today we will understand, okay, how to create. So to full-fledgedly understand how to do the table creation, we have come across these many data types. How to create table in Oracle database. Let's focus here. Okay, we know what is the syntax to create a table. So I don't think we need to keep much discussion about this. Syntax is what? I say syntax. Okay, you have the you need to use the create command. Okay, you need to be very specific. What you want to create? You want to create a table. Okay, table followed by what? The user defined table name. Okay, you can give any table name here. Okay, followed by what? After giving the table name, table is going to have what? Rows and the columns, right? So you need to give the column names. Column names has to be what user defined. You need to specify that, right? So you will give the column names by taking the brackets. In the brackets, you will give the column names for the differentiation to distinguish between the table name and the column name. Okay, so column name can be what? The user defined name, isn't it? So column name. So along with the column name, you will also prefer to give the data type, because the column is going to store the specific data, right? Specific data. You need to specify what kind of data that you're going to choose along with the column name, right? And sometimes this column, this data type, you would be dealing with what? You would be dealing with the size, isn't it? Size. Okay. You can give that. Okay. And also you can give what? You can give the constraints. What is it? Constraints. So what is this constraints? You will understand that. Okay, this is an optional thing. That's why syntactically, if you give constraints or if you're not giving constant, also no issues. If you are giving constant in the syntax or not giving the constant in the syntax, there are no issues. But because since it is an optional thing, constraints.
Sir,
Hello,
sir, can we add a multi-columns data table, sir?
I didn't get you what?
Multi-columns, sir.
Multi-column. So this is the first column. I'm telling you that. Telling you. This is the first column. Okay, comma. Okay, and this is the second law. This is column name 1. This is the column name 2. It depends upon the requirement. How many columns that you want to choose, you can choose. Making sense? Maximum how many columns you can choose? Tell me, anyone?
1000.
1000. Up to 1000 you can choose. So that is the limitation. Okay, how many rows you can choose? How many rows you can fill?
Unlimited.
Unlimited rows. So that's the takeaway. Good. Okay, this is how the columns can be created. Right? Now let us say that I have a requirement. I am running a company. I want to store what? I want to store the employee information. I want to store the employee information. Okay, but understand one thing. So see, yesterday we have been creating columns by using the default username and the password. Under the default entities, the columns and the rows are created yesterday. I mean till yesterday. But in the real-time application, when you want to store a specific data, right? You need to create a table, right? You need to create a table. I will be creating a lot of columns as per your requirement. But that table can be created. It cannot be created under the default entities. When I say default entities, what I mean is actually, right? So you have what two default entities in the Oracle. One is the system user. Second one is the sys user. You have two options. Okay. As soon as you use MySQL plus SQL plus, you will be having option what? You will be having an option to log in. Right? What you do? You log in by using what? The default user system, or the password is what? The password is root. Okay. And after doing this, what I am suggesting is create your own user ID and password. First of all, log into the default credentials by using the default credentials and create your own user ID and password. Create a unique user ID, okay, and password. Okay. After creation, will it work just like that? After creating it, what we should get after the creation? You should get what? You should get the connection, permission, privileges. Okay. You should ensure that the privileges are granted. Grant connect. We will be using what? Grant connect. Right? After getting the connection, after getting the privileges. Okay. So this is the privileges for the user ID and password only. And again, there is one more privileges that you should get. Focus here. There is one more privileges. So creating user ID and password is okay. After creation, you cannot use it until and unless you are getting the privileges. So connection privileges has to be granted. And again, to create your own table, even for creating a table, there should be a permission. You should get a permission. Permission from whom? Permission from the admin. Okay, the admin has to approve that, okay, the so and so user is permitted to create tables also. It is like the moment in some companies, what happens, they don't give you the right access. Okay. They don't give you what? They don't give you the right access. There will be two types of access. In the real-time companies, there will be two types of access to the employees. The employees. One is what? One is the read access. Second one is what? Read and write access. Read and write access. Okay. So read access is like the user, the employee can only read the data. He cannot write data. Write means he cannot modify. He cannot modify in the sense he cannot alter. He cannot create a table. He cannot delete. Okay, these privileges will not be granted. For some employees only, for some employees read access will be granted. For some employees both read and write access will be granted. Because there are a lot of problems. They will face a lot of issues when they accidentally delete a table. Okay, there are some limitations here. So there is something called truncate concept is there. Truncate. Okay, this word, you should get afraid of this word in the real-time company. Truncate. Truncate means it will delete all the rows in a table, and you cannot even retrieve it. Once deleted, it is deleted. Simple command will make the situation worst. That's why they take the much care to giving the right access only to a specific employees who are experts in dealing with the tables, who are experting in writing the data, who are experting in inserting the data for the security reasons. Right? So there will be read access and write access. So the admin will take care of creating user ID password, will take care of granting connect, and he will take care of granting what grant to create the table. He will give that permission. Okay, this permission will be given to the employees. Okay, this all three layer. Okay, creating user and password, creating grant connect, and grant table will be given to the employees who has what? Who has both read and write access. Making sense? And only people who are just who want to read the data that is there already there in the table, they may not give the permission to grant table, which means what? They are not allowed to create tables. They're not allowed to modify anything, things like that. We will understand this. This is just the brief understanding about why we need to give permission to the create table and all. Right? Let us understand this practically. What I mean to say is, let me take SQL Plus. Okay, user ID is what? System, and password is what? Root. So I'm trying to log into the default credential system and the root. Okay, and connection has been established. Right? I want to create a table in my own database. I want to create a separate database. I want to create a separate credentials. In that credentials, I want to create the table. Right? So typically, okay, what will happen? I want to create my own user ID and password. We know how to create our own user ID and password. Create user. I want to create a new user. Name of the new user is, let us say that my DB, okay, my database, let us say that my database 7 a.m. my DB 7 a.m. Since we are 7 a.m. batch, I am taking this my database 7 a.m. Okay, identified by. Okay, password is also I am taking it like, okay, both are in capital letters. Okay, just remember this, my DB 7 a.m. Okay, this is the user ID. So create user ID, which is what? My DB. Identified by means the password. Okay, this is the command that you will get, identified by the password. Very simple command, no? Create user, you will give the username. Identified by, you will give the password. Okay, ensure that this password is case sensitive. Now it is, everything is in uppercase. Please remember this. Okay, new user created. As soon as we get credentials, okay, it has been, okay, we have got this now. Now we are able to get what? We are able to see this. User ID and password has been created. Right? After this creation, permission needs to be given. We need to get the privileges. To get the privileges, we know this already. We have come across this command, grant connect. Grant connect. To whom? I want to give permission to whom? Grant connect to whom? Okay, the particular user, my DB 7 a.m. My DB 7 a.m. Give permission. Okay, grant succeeded. Now you are permitted. Okay, user is created and user has got a permission. Okay, after getting the permission, then one more thing that you need to get. You need to get the permission. Also, you need to get a permission to what? Get a permission to create table. So grant create table. Give the create table permission to which user? My DB 7 a.m. Grant succeeded. Okay, so after creating the user ID, you need to take care of the connect permission. You need to take care of, one has to take care of what? Grant create table permission. So these things will be taken care by the admin itself. Since we are beginners, okay, so we are just understanding what is what. Okay, now let us do, after getting the permission, I'm using what? I'm using the con statement, con command to log into the newly created user ID. This mydb 7 a.m. followed by the password mydb 7 a.m. Okay, I'm sorry, I should remove this. What did I do? My DB 7 a.m. password my DB 7 a.m. Connected. So I used a semicolon here, that's why it's not connected. Okay, let me clear all this here. Okay. Now I want to see. Now I am inside what? I am inside the credentials. Okay, this is succeeded. We have succeeded in this. I am inside what? I am inside my own DB. I mean, I am inside my own credentials, which is what? My DB. My DB 7 a.m. So this is our own user now. And under this user, I want to see how many tables are there. I want to see how many tables are there. How to view the list of tables that is created under MyDB 7am. Have we created any table so far? So this is, we have created this for the first time. But in order to see the list of tables, there is a command called what? Select star from tab. If you use this command, okay, now you are inside the MyDB 7am user credentials, right? And under this, if there are any tables, such things, it will be displayed. If there are no tables, okay, it will not be displayed. What it says, no row selected. What does it really mean? Okay, there are no tables created under the current credentials, which is what? Which is MyDB 7am. We got what? No row selected. Means a response. It is a response which is eventually saying that no data is there. No row selected means no data is there. So in our case, we are trying to check is there any tables or not. So we get the answer response as what? No row selected. Isn't it? Now check. What is it that we have discussed? Okay, log into the default credentials as follows. What are the default credentials? Okay, you have what? You have system, password is root. Okay, after login, okay, create the unique user ID and the password. User ID, the password. Okay, what is the way to create user followed by what? Followed by username. Okay, identified by what? Password. Okay, this is syntax. After creating this, you need to do few more things. Granting permission for that user. So grant connect to whom? To the username, the newly created user. Privileges. After granting permission, when the permission needs to be taken for creating a table. For that, what is the syntax? Grant create what? Create table. Create table means give the permission to create table to not MyDB, to username. We are just talking about the syntax. Create user. These are the user defined now. Username identified what? Identified by password. User defined. Right? Grant connect to what? Grant connect to username. Username is what? The user defined. Grant create table to what? The username. Okay. After this, we have understood about something like how to view the list of tables. How to view the list of tables under the particular user. How to view? So command is very simple. What is the command? Select star from. Now I want to create a table of, I want to create employee table, guys. So I want to create employee tables. So create employee, create table create table. What table you want to, what you want to name the table? I want to create the employee table. Employee. So I'm giving the table name as employee. And I want to specify the columns. Okay. So columns are going to be what? Employee ID. Employee ID is the column name. So in this column name, I want to choose a data type like what? Integer data type. Okay. This column is going to store a specific data of what type? Integer type. Comma. And also I should have something like student name. Student name is the S name is the name of, sorry, employee name. Employee name is the name of the what? Name of the column. E name is the name of the column. And I want to take a data type called what? Character data type. Let me take the size as 20. Okay. And I also want to take something like employee salary. Okay. E-sal. Okay. E-sal, I want to take a data type like, number data type. Let me give the precision as 8. Okay. And, scale as 2. Look at the syntax. It says table created. Table created. Now look at the syntax. Focus on the syntax here. Focus on the syntax. So this is the typical syntax to create a table. So what would happen behind the scenes? The moment you give create table, okay, of course a table needs to get created. So we know these things. Table will get created. So along with that, okay, what will not be the rows will not be there. Table will get created. Okay, the name of the table is what? Employee. Table name will be employee name. Okay, how many columns you are specifying it here? You are specifying what? Column name as, okay, the EID is one of the columns. Okay, and E name is one of the columns. Okay, and you have what? You have something like E salary is one of the columns. So you have taken 3 column names. Okay, and also you have chosen what kind of data that your column is going to have. What type of data that you are going to store. That also you have specified. Okay, columns are created like this. Okay, so 3 columns are created. You did not add any data here so far. Okay, and EID, this EID is going to store the data of what type? Integer type, data type. You are being very specific, the data type. Okay, and E name is going to store the data type of what? Char type, very specific. Yeah, care of, you are also specifying the size. Character type is or variable or fixed? Anyone? Char type is variable type or fixed type? Forgotten, huh? Char type is fixed data type. Okay, the size is like once it can occupy, and the remaining spaces will be the spaces will be padded with spaces. We have something like what? The ESAL, which is going to store the number data type. Number, which is what? Which is 8, 2. Specifying the base. 8, 2. Okay. So because of this instruction, okay, because of this instruction, the table is getting created like this. What is the response you got? You got a response like table created. Yes or no? If you see, response is like what? Table created. Okay, behind the scenes, a table has been created just like this. If I ask you how many columns are here, you would say there are 3 columns. How many rows are here? 0 rows. Because no data has been inserted so far. So because of this create command, this is what happening behind the scenes. Okay, create command is over. Now I have created the table. Now table has been created successfully. Okay, I want to see the table. Tables under the user ID, under my user ID. Let me do select start from tab. Now you will see something like this. I will explain you what is this. Huh? Okay. Now after giving that command, you are seeing something like this. Select star from tab. You are seeing what? You are seeing a tab type. You are seeing the cluster ID, right? And you are seeing what? The employee table. If you see what is this tab type, what is this tab type? In the beginning of the create, while understanding the create command, we have understood that create command is used to create objects, create database objects. Remember, create database objects like table, synonyms, indexes, sequences. We have seen that. Okay. This table is one of the data type objects of data type itself. It is talking about the data type objects. What kind of data type object that you have created, that you are dealing with? What kind of data type object is the tab type? Tab type is nothing but the table type. What kind of data type object you are dealing with? It's a tab type, which is what the table type. So what is this cluster ID, sir? Okay. This cluster ID is something, it is going to have a lot of the similar tables connected under one ID. This is the advanced, this is a PLSQL topic. Over there, we will understand what is this cluster ID. This is a very, very big topic, cluster ID. Understanding this cluster ID. To understand this, we need to understand the basics of SQL. For now, just ignore this cluster ID. Okay. So when you select star from tab, you get this. You are able to see your employee table. Employee table is successfully done. Right now, we want to see the description of your table. Sir, I'm okay. I have created the table. I want to see the table description. I want to see the table structure. I want to see it completely. How you can see? You can use a command like the description command. In shortcut, you can use it what? Disc command, description, DESC, followed by what description you want to see. I want to see the description of my table, which is employee. After doing this, you will get things like this. Now, the next one is what? How to see the description. How to see the structure of my table. Structure of my table. You can see the structure of the table by using the description command, DESC command. By executing DESC command followed by the table name. Table name. So it is. Now, if you see, you are able to see 3 columns here. Okay, you are able to see employee ID. Okay, the data type is what? The number data type. Sir, we have given integer data type. Why we are getting number here? Why we are getting number? So, what is the default size of integer data type? What is the size of integer data type? I have saying for positive it is minus plus 10 to the power of 38 minus 1. For the negative 10 to the power of 38 minus 1, minus 10 to the power of 38 minus plus 1 minus 1. If you remember, if you go back and see, you will get that. Okay. This integer data type is the subtype of number type. This is a subtype of number type. That's why even though when you give integer, the size is taking 38 at the default. It is taking the parent type. Number is a parent type of integer. That's why it is showing number here. Don't get any confusion. Integer type is under number type only. Okay. Have you specified any number here? Okay. You have not taken any size, or you have not taken any precision here. You have just given integer. By default, it is taking 38 as the size, 38 as the precision. Why number here instead of integer? Because this integer is a subtype of number type. So that's why it is coming as a number here. Are the internal things. Okay. Now you see, you are seeing something called null question mark. What is this column? You haven't created any. You haven't created any. I was telling constraints, right? So while creating table, we have to take care of the constraints. I have telling constraints. So since we are not discussing about constraints, I have said that these constraints are optional. Okay, null is one of the constraints. Okay, and if you are placing constraints, we will see that it will say yes or no, y or n. What does it really mean? You can also allow the null values in. Empty values also you can allow. That is what it means. Or else if you don't want to allow, okay, you will be using the constraints that we will be discussing in the future topic. Once you start discussing about the constraints which are optional here, okay, that's why the null is right completely empty. Right, now we have understood about how to do what, how to see the structure of the table. Now let us start understanding about modification. The table creation is okay. Now I have forgotten to do something. I have done a lot of mistakes while creating a table. I want to alter it. I want to perform the modification. How I can do that? Modifications on table. Modifications on what? Modifications on table. Sometimes we make mistakes, right? Here, after all, we are human beings. We make a lot of mistakes. Once a table is created, is it created? Can't we do anything? Can't we do any modification? We are supposed to do any modification. To take care of modification, we will use what? We will use the alter command. What is this alter command? Okay, this used to modify or change the structure of the table. Like what? Like what? You're saying structure of the table. Like what are the things that you can do? Okay, there are some commands. Okay, you have command like alter. You can modify the structure. Modification. Okay, simple manipulation. You go for alter. You can add columns. You forgot to add one column, you can do that. You can go for alter to rename something. If you don't like the column name, okay, you can rename that. You can do alter to drop something. Drop means what? Drop means deleting. Okay, first let us understand what is this alter modify. Alter modify. Modification. What kind of modification that we can do? Now you see, let us go back to the table. This is our table. You have here integer, you have, right? And you have here character, you have here number, you have. Now I am filing it very difficult. Okay, so I am not happy with this data type. So I have given char accidentally. I have given the char data type accidentally. I don't like this. I want to do what? I want to change the data type. I am happy with the column names, but I'm not happy with this specific data type. I want to store something. Bigger than character data type. Okay, that modification I want to do. If I want to do modification on top of data type, simple, very simple. I will be using what? I will be using a command like the alter command. Okay, let us understand this. Modify, or I can say that please be informed that to change, in order to change the data type from one type to another. Also, along with its size. Its size you can follow the below syntax. Okay, very simple. What is the syntax for this? Syntax. Very simple. You go alter command followed by modification should happen on table, right? Followed by the table command. We need to specify what? We need to specify the table name. Table name. After the specification of table name, we need to give the modify command. Modify. Modify. What you want to modify here? What you want to modify? You need to be very specific here. Okay, modification on which? Modification on what? Modification on what? Modification on column name. Okay, define your column name here. Okay, so this column name has to be what? Column name has to be column name. Okay, and you can also choose the size. Okay, after defining the column name, you need to choose the what? You need to choose the data type. Data type. Okay, this is the command. Alter table name. What you want to do? You want to modify. Modify what? You have to give the column name. Okay, and followed by what? Followed by the data type. Very simple, no? Let us do this. Alter table. Okay, what is a table name? Employee is our table name, right? Employee followed by what you want to change. You want to modify. To modify what? Modify the column. What is a column name here? Name is the column. Right. Okay. I want to change the data type of the column, which is from from character to varchar to varchar. Okay, I will be define size like 25. It says table altered. You get a response, table altered. What is what is alteration? Let us see the description. Describe about my employee. If you see previously, okay, if you see the description, previously it was char2. Now you are able to modify it successfully to varchar2. Now you are happy that okay, you are able to what? You are able to do the modification from char2 to varchar2 by using what command? By using the alter command. Isn't it? If you get locked out of the meeting, no, please rejoin. We will see it will be for 10 more minutes only. Complete this varchar2. Okay, now the next thing. Okay, table. Let us understand about alter add is that. Let's understand about what alter add. Alter. In the existing table, you can add a new column, guys. This is the command which is used to add a new. In the existing table, you can add a new column, which is add a new column in the existing table. What is the syntax for that? Syntax very simple. Use the alter command followed by the table name. Okay. Alter table. Okay, so alter table followed by the table name. Okay, what you want to do? See guys here. Okay, you are dealing with what? You are dealing with a table which has only 3 columns. Okay, I want to increase my column. I have forgotten to add one more column, so I want to increase my column to the fourth one. Okay, my new column, I need to add something like what? I want to add something like employee address. E-address I want to add. E-address. So instead of creating a new table and correcting these things, I want to do this in the existing table. Okay, how I can do that? Alter table name, okay, followed by a command called what? Alter table name. Followed by a command called add command. Okay, and here you will specify what? New column name. Okay, and you will choose the data type. You will choose what? You will also choose the size. That's it. Right? Let's do this. Clear the skin. So what is it? Alter table employee table, and you want to add a new column. I want to add e-address edd. Okay, let us take the data type as what? Data type as the varchar2 we will take. Varchar2, let us take the size as what? Just 20. So it says, this command says table has been altered. Okay, where is the proof that the table has been altered? Where is the proof? Description, employee. Okay, now you see, you are able to see the fourth column. This is what e add. So this has been implemented successfully. You are able to add the fourth column. Now we want to rename the column. Now you want to what? Rename. So to change the column name in a table, very simple. How to rename a column? Third one. Alter rename. To change the column of a table. How we can do that? So this is varchar2. Varchar2 of this one. How to change the column name of the table? Column name of a table. Okay, the command is very simple. Syntax. Okay. Alter table name, rename column. Rename old column name to the new column name. Column name to column name. That's it. How we can do that? Very simple. So I want to make sure that, okay, this this e name is there. Now I want to change. Okay, let us change the e address. E-add is there. Instead of e-add, I want to change it to e address. I want to ensure that it is like e address. Very simple. Just follow the syntax. Alter table employee. Okay, rename. What is the old column name? E add to what is the new column name? E address. This happened. Alter table student rename. Okay, I forgot one thing. Yes, okay, forgot about it. Alter table employee rename. What I want to rename? I want to rename the column. I forgot this. Name column. Okay, you should have the column syntax. Column. Rename column from rename column, E added existing column to the new column. The table has been altered. Let us see the description now. DESC disk of employee. Now you see old column name is E added and new column name is E address. Let me copy this. Okay, we have understood about the alteration. Now I want to do what? I want also to do something like what is the last thing that we have discussed. I want to drop the table. So far we have created table, we have understood how to do the modification. Now the last thing is what? I want to drop the table. Okay, alter drop. How I can drop a table? To delete a specific, not a drop a table, the drop command is used to what? It is like I don't like this. Let us say that I don't like this column. I want to remove this column from the system. I want to remove E addresses. My requirement is I do not want to use this column anymore. Okay. I want to ensure that my table has only 3 columns except for E addresses. How I can do that modification on this column? Delete a specific column from a table. This command is used to delete a specific column from the table. This command should take column from a table. This syntax alter table name. Okay. Drop column. Okay, let's see. Description employee. I want to delete E addresses. Okay, what I want to do? Alter employee. Every time you take the table name, alter table employee. Hit drop. What you want to drop? You want to drop a column, right? Now, what column you want to drop? You want to drop E addresses. A table altered, which means what is a proof that the column has been dropped? Desk employee. Now you are not able to see these E addresses anymore. The column of E addresses is not visible anymore. Okay, this is the so we have seen modify, we have seen add, we have seen rename, and we have seen rename. Also, we have seen what drop. So I am able to rename the column, but I want to rename the table. What if I want to rename the table? What if I want to do what? If I want to rename the table. Okay, to change the table name, what we can do, we can use a rename. There is a predefined command called rename command. We will give the old table name. To you will give the what? You will give the new table name. Okay, let us do this. Yeah, I feel that sometimes I feel that the name of this employee is very large. I feel that the name of this employee is very large. I want to change it from what? From employee to EMP. I want to keep it very short. So I can do that. Okay, just by using the rename command. Okay. Alter table employee alter rename, right? Rename employee Table retain. What is the proof that the table has been renamed? Select tab sensitive is not working well. Start from tab. Now you see the name of the table is what? Now name of the latest name of the table is what? The employee table. Okay, now let us try to understand about the truncate. Okay, please pay some attention to understand this topic. Very easy. Truncating is very easy. Truncate. I have also introduced this. Okay, truncate. For example, let us say that in my project I have a table, guys. Okay, my table has my table has three columns. Okay, let us say that I have three columns. This is column number 1, this is column number 2, and you have what? Column number 3. I have three columns in my table. Let us name these columns as ABC. A, and you have what? You have B, you have C. Okay, the values under A is what? 1, 2, 3. Okay, let us say that there are some values like P, Q, R, P, Q, R, and there are some values like X, Y, Z, X, Y. Okay. So by using the truncate command, okay, there is a command called truncate command. The moment I use this command, you need to be very careful by using the truncate command. Okay. The moment you use the truncate command, it is used to completely delete all the rows. It is used to completely what? Completely delete all the rows. Okay. But what if I want to, sir, I want to delete the row specifically, I want to delete the second row, I want to delete the third row. Then truncate command will not be helpful. You have to go for what? You have to go for the delete command that we will discuss in the future topic. There is a command called delete command. You can use this delete command to choose the specific row because it will support the var class. I will tell you what is var class under. Truncate command will not support the var class. Truncate command, it will not support the var class. Because of this, var class is just like a condition, guys. Okay, condition in the sense, okay, I want to delete the table of column number which is having the value 3. Value 3 means the column 3 will be deleted. So that is a var class. You are going to specify a condition. If you are using where the column where the name of the column where the column name is A, where the value is 3. Okay, you specify the what we call it as the var class. But truncate command will not support the var class. Truncate command does not support var clause. That is why the moment you are using the truncate command, it will ensure that all the rows are deleted. You are not able to select the the rows will not be specific. And also deleting is okay. The problem here is you cannot restore it. Restoring is not possible. The deleting that you are doing is permanent. Restoring is not possible. Then why this command is there? Why this command has been introduced? So when the restoring is not possible, what are the benefits that the user is going to get by using the truncate command? We have seen in the beginning of our classes, we have seen something like OLAP, OLTP, online transaction processing, online analytical processing. We have seen this in the beginning of our classes, right? So when you are trying to transfer the data, when you are trying to migrate the data, what you do, you create a temporary table. Create a temporary table just similar to the original table. You copy all the data to the temporary table, then you will actually perform the migration. From the temporary table, you will perform the migration. After doing all these things, you will delete what? You will use the truncate command so that only the information will be deleted, but the structure of the table will not be deleted. Structure of the table will be retained. When I say structure, you are talking about what? Number of columns. You might be dealing with 50 columns. In our examples, we are seeing only 3 or 4 columns, right? But in the future, you might be seeing at least 50 to 60 columns. And in each and every column, there will be data types. And each and every data type, there will be some constraints. If you want to retain those things, okay, if you want to retain those strings, you can go for truncate. Why truncate? In OLAP transactions, okay, you will be what? You will be dealing with only deleting the rows, deleting all the rows, because you will be storing the data temporarily into a separate table. Okay. After migrating the data to the OLAP by using what? By using the tools, Informatica tool, ETL tools, right? Then what you want to do? You want to delete the data so that the new data will be occupied. In those cases, you will use the truncate command because this is very, very fast. This will happen in the fraction of seconds. It is not like delete command. It will happen in the fraction of seconds. This command is used not for the SQL developers. It is used for the online analytical processing OLAP applications. In those cases, there are some scenarios where you will have to delete all the information. All information. Sometimes you will be collecting information like transaction history information from the customer when he's making online transactions. That data will not be permanent. Okay, you need to delete that completely at one period of time. In that cases, you will be using truncate command. Why I am discussing this here is you're not supposed to use the truncate command anywhere in your project. Okay? The moment you see this truncate command, don't ever type truncate in your projects, because if you do truncate in the project, it is going to delete the complete rows. There will be no data. Sir, where is the proof? Where is the proof? Let us do the truncate command because we have a table here. We don't have any information here. We don't have any information in this table. Tomorrow we will create a table. We will perform the remaining actions, right? Then we will start applying this truncate command. So all the rows will be deleted. If you have time, you can also do that today. It's an assignment. If you have time, you can do that. Create a table and give some information, fill some rows, and use the truncate command. So what is the syntax for truncate command? Okay, if you want me to help me with the syntax, okay, just use truncate table and give the table name. But in the real-time application, you should not do this. Okay, if you are coming across truncate command, okay, if you ever want to come across a situation, you should get an email from your team leader or your project manager before using this command, because this is going to drop the information completely and you cannot restore it. That's a problem. You cannot restore it. Let us apply this here. Truncate table, right? So there is no information employee, right? Let's see what happens. So EMP is a table. We have changed the table name, right? Okay. EMP. A table truncated, but no, there are no rows. It is giving a response truncated, which means the beginning only there are no rows here. Only if you look at our table, okay, our table is completely empty with no rows. Only you have this information, but this information is retained. This column names will not be deleted. You're deleting only the rows. You're deleting only the rows, not the actual column information. Okay, this will be retained. Right. So that's all about the today's class. If you have any doubts, ask me. Else we will wind up.